The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, welcome everyone to our webinar, Your Backup Your Way, Deduplication of Your Data Cloud Storage Replication with our ViTL VTL solution. My name is Axe Signer, Vice President of Electronic Storage Corporation. We are located in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Have been in business for over 30 years. Here in our Tulsa office, we also have our own technical support customer service department, as well as our own programming staff here in Tulsa. We are an IBM business partner and a Microsoft certified partner. So what we're going to be covering today is how to deploy ViTL into your IBM I environment, reduce storage needs. So we're going to talk a bit about data deduplication, sending backup copies offsite automatically with the replication capabilities, replicate backups to cloud storage, organize backups by location, retention, and tier, and being able to use familiar IBM I backup tools like BRMS, Robot Save, or the native Go Save commands for a VTL solution for IBM I backups. So a quick overview, virtual tape solution for IBM I environments, specifically allowing you to do all the backup tasks that you're currently doing, including full system saves in restricted state, and also things recovery like demode IPL with a virtual tape solution. So we're going to emulate tape. We're going to delay the risks and delays of manual hassles of using physical tape if that's what you're currently using. So we're going to talk about also working with IBM backup commands, BRMS, Robot Save. So we're going to show you how automating and streamlining your backup process is a huge benefit to your data recovery capabilities with IBM I. And then we're also going to talk about a new feature with our particular solution for multipath storage of your backups, providing more storage flexibility. So how deduplication? So data deduplication is, in our particular case, developed here with our own programming staff, is going to be block level data deduplication. And this software is going to automatically identify and remove data, duplicate data across backups. So you're going to only have to store unique blocks of data. Any blocks that contain only new or changed data are going to be saved, therefore reducing the amount of duplicate data being stored. So you're going to reduce the total disk usage, reduce your storage costs. You're going to speed up backup and restore times by eliminating that redundancy. And then we're going to optimize long-term retention without sacrificing performance, which means you can, if you're needing to or wanting to extend your retentions on some of your particular backups, the ability to deduplicate and get high compression ratios means that you could possibly do that if you're needing to or wanting to. And our particular solution, BDup, works seamlessly with our VTL solution ViTL, and no external appliance or any specific appliance required for performing these backup procedures and data deduplication. Now, in addition to using the VTL server or ViTL with storage for your backups, we also work with other deduplication appliances, backup appliances such as Exagrid, Cohesity, Rubrik, and many, many others that we could list in terms of what you can back up to through our VTL solution to existing storage, SAN or NAS storage, other deduplication appliances such as I mentioned here. So if you wanted to be able to leverage that storage for your IBM I backups, that's certainly a possibility with a gateway solution, meaning that you don't have to write data directly to a VTL server, disk storage. Instead, that can be a gateway solution where we write the data directly to the storage. Wanted to also announce our newest business partner venture with IBM, with their IBM Data Defender Protect, to where you can use our gateway solution similar to the way it would be used with Cohesity, Rubric, Exagrid, and using the Defender Data Protect cluster as the storage. So this is a new technology partner that we're now working with in terms of allowing customers of IBM that have this particular solution to leverage that storage for their IBM i backups. Using cloud storage with ViTL. So you're going to be able to do simple, seamless replication, automated replication of your backups to cloud storage, supporting AWS, Wasabi, Azure, etc. Offsite storage without moving physical media. So you're going to be able to scale a solution like ViTL as it grows, reduce on-prem hardware needs. It's ideal for long-term retention, for disaster recovery, to be able to have multiple copies of your backups that you're able to restore from at any time. And then you can secure encrypted data transfer in terms of replication to cloud storage. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of show you guys some of the capabilities and the features of our ViTL solution. So this is our web interface, and I'm going to log in with my secure username and password. And the first thing I'm going to go ahead and go to is the tape library configuration. Now, when connecting the ViTL solution to the IBM i, there's two basic options there. One would be SAS connection from the IBM i to the ViTL solution, or fiber channel connectivity. Either one of those gives you the same capabilities, same backup capabilities in terms of using whatever IBM backup software you're currently using today, as well as giving you the ability to do a full system save, restricted state, option 23, option 21, and then giving you the ability to do a D-mode IPL, full system recovery from virtual tape backup. So in defining your tape library with this interface, I'm going to go to Library 1 and I'm going to click Edit. The library name is basically just whatever you want to name the library within this particular interface. Our solution emulates LTO 2, 3, 5, and 8, or 8. None of these have a storage limit on them. So if you're using LTO 5, and your backup is 10 terabytes, the entire 10 terabytes would fit on one single virtual tape, no matter which LTO version you use. They also don't relate to any kind of speed differences between the Ultrium versions. So 2 would be just as fast as 8, simply because we're writing to disk instead of physical media. The number of storage slots. So this is what I have entered in for how many tapes that I want to have available for backup and recovery. This can go as high as 16,350 tape slots. You can increase this number anytime you want, up to that 16,000. That meaning you can add additional tapes for additional retentions, additional backups that you might want to add into the rotations. So it's basically a virtual unlimited tape library because of the number of slots and tapes that you can have available at any time to perform a recovery. Now, if you do want to set a tape capacity on your virtual tapes for this particular tape library, you can do that. Some of our customers do this because they're saving journals throughout the day, and they eventually want that tape to fill up so it rotates to the next tape. There are some cache settings that we have that you're able to modify to obtain the best performance of your backup speed and your restore speed. So what your goal here is to, number one, disk-to-disk backup is definitely going to reduce your backup window if you're saving currently to physical media. So we were looking to double or triple the backup speed to disk compared to physical tape. So you can modify and test these write and read cache capabilities to obtain the fastest backup speed as well as the fastest restore speed. Next, we're going to talk about paths. So I'd mentioned earlier our multi-path feature. So I have defined multiple disk destinations or disk paths in order to store virtual tapes. My first path is to the E drive, which is a ViTL server or ViTL server that we have set up in our data center for demos. So I'm writing my backups to local disk. I could add a second path for SAN or NAS storage, cloud storage. That's this case particular is cloud storage, Azure. Now there's no limit on the number of paths that you can define to where you want to write your backups to and migrate your backups to additional paths. So the way that mine is defined is that I'm going to save to this local path as it's named local. And then any tape at any time, either automated or manually, can be migrated to whichever path you have defined here. So this gives you the flexibility. This gives you the flexibility of moving your backups to different storage locations, cloud storage, offsite storage, SAN, NAS storage. It could also be a feature in which you want to land a backup to local disk and then migrate that backup to, say, Rubrik or Cohesity or whatever storage that you need. But still having the ability to perform a restore no matter where that tape is, and to be able to see that tape in the tape library inventory no matter which path that virtual tape resides. So the settings for adding a path. You can name the path, put the path itself, where this could be SMB share, this could be iSCSI path, cloud storage path, whatever the case might be. The next speed feature for backups is called our data block file count, and it's currently set to 8. What this means is that when I perform a backup, a virtual tape is loaded into the drive automatically. While the backup is being written and executed from the IBMI and written to disk, we're actually writing it to 8 files during the backup process. In order to spread out that processing across multiple files, we're able to achieve much faster backup speeds compared to physical tape. And that setting can go anywhere from 0 all the way up to 32 individual files. Some of the other features exclude from inventory if you don't want to see those in the tapes that are in this particular path in inventory. Compression. So we have compression on. Our solution comes with standard with compression. And what that means is it's usually average about 4:1 compression. It comes standard with the ViTL license as well as encryption. Adding on data deduplication with our BDup module means that you're going to check that box, go to settings, and we're going to go walk with you during an installation and training to optimize the deduplication for the highest compression ratio as well as the highest write speed. Deduplication can be performed post backup or inline deduplication. And then we can take a look at here we have one of the features with this is to move the tape on initialized back to the local path. So if I take a virtual tape, and migrate it from local to Azure, if that tape is to be initialized, it's going to be moved back to local because that tape needs to be reused. So let's say BRMS, you run maintenance. This tape that you've migrated to another path has been it needs to be initialized. It will be moved. It could be moved back to whichever path that you want to write that backup to for BRMS. We've got compression turned on, encryption, which is AES 256 encryption. Deduplicated backups can also be encrypted. Now we do support for fiber channel connectivity, support NPIV. So in this case, what this represents, this single fiber channel port could be 16 gig, 32 gig, whatever. This one entry is a tape library with a tape device. So if I go do a work MLB status, that represents TAP MLB V1, oops, and TAP V1. So that one single entry is a tape library with a virtual tape library with a virtual tape device. With that same fiber channel connection, I can add up to 64 more virtual devices. So for each fiber channel connection using NPIV, up to 64 virtual tape devices, virtual tape libraries. Adding an additional tape to this tape library, it would just be set with a different worldwide port name address and control path no, which would then give you a tape library with 2 tape devices. If you're doing things like parallel saves with BRMS, you can definitely do the exact same thing with the ViTL solution like ViTL, which of course using more than one tape device definitely increases the speed of your backups. Now, security to this interface is users based on users and groups that are created by an administrator. So as a member of the administrator group, I'm going to edit this. These are the features. So you can lock down the features, such as you can lock down a member of a group to not allow them to delete media. Maybe the only thing you'd want to do is let them create media or just simply view the library and the media. Replication and retention. So we've talked a lot about that in the PowerPoint slides. So I'm going to kind of go through some of the features of replication and retention that you can define within the ViTL solution and make this a completely automated process of replicating, making copies of your backups for disaster recovery. So I have a network path option. So this could be disk storage, a ViTL server at a DR location or co-location. Amazon S3 could be a replication option, Azure, Wasabi. We have parameters for these cloud accounts to put in your cloud account credentials into these 3 different options here for cloud storage so that it can replicate directly to the storage that you have associated with your particular company's cloud account. And you can actually select, as you can see, you can create more than one replication. You can do different replications for different media based on the media volume ID prefix. So that allows you a lot of flexibility to make copies of tapes to where they need to go for a particular recovery. So you could have a tape go to a DR or co-location as well as go to cloud storage and actually have a total of 3 copies of your virtual backup tape. So if we just take a look at the features, we've got asterisk for the serial prefix. If I put D or say W for weekly backups, if that was what I was using for a prefix of a volume ID, then this replication and retention job or just replication job would only apply to those volumes. Asterisk just simply means this applies to all volumes. Email notifications, so you can set up that to go to a particular email alias to be notified when a backup has begun. A replication has begun and a replication has been completed. If there happened to be some sort of issue with, say, internet or network connectivity and the replication failed, you'd get an email on that, and you can actually just simply restart that, and it can be automatically restarted. Enable replication, that's what I've got checked here. I want blank tapes to go to the replication site. That's in case you're, say, using a DR location for your target. Therefore, you need blank tapes there to use with, say, BRMS, for example. Replication all volumes. So that means any new volume or changed volume that's been saved to would be replicated, or the most recent number of volumes. So let's say you run this once a week or every other day, you can change that number to go back to the number of tapes that have been used and get those replicated. Cloud storage properties for your particular Amazon S3 account. And then you've got compression, deduplication, encryption. You can, as you're backing up the data to local disk and encrypting it, of course, it would remain encrypted during the replication process. Now, if you're not using BRMS or robot save, you can set retentions on your tapes. So if you're using the go save commands or go backup, excuse me, you can go ahead and set and enable local retention based on age or based on number of volumes. So if I'm keeping 5 dailies and this applied to the daily volumes, then that's the number I'd use for how many I want to keep. You can say delete or initialize the tape upon expired. Remote retention below here, you can create that for these replicated tapes. So you can create this as a different retention for the replicated copy compared to the local copy if you want or need. So once these are defined, they're just going to be set up as scheduled tasks to run automatically after the backup's been completed, anytime during the day. These can be scheduled to do processing and replication completely automated. Okay. There's also a log here showing your replication jobs that have been completed or currently running. So you do have an audit of your replication tasks. So let's go to library 1. So here we want to see all of our tapes in the slots. The tape device, if there's more than one tape device, they would be listed here as drive 1, 2, 3, 4. To create media, you click which path you want to create the media. I'm going to go local path and I'm going to click create. So here I am going to create these tapes in this particular path, put in my serial prefix. Say I want to create multiple tapes and initialize those, click create media, and you've got new tapes. Add those into, say, BRMS, and they're ready to be used for backups. I can go to Azure and see all of my Azure tapes. As you can see, there's a path column here to show me the tapes that are in that particular path. I can go all inventory so I can see virtual tapes at any location or any path. You've got some other features like if you need to manually move a tape into the drive. So if you needed to move a tape into the drive, say it was a full system save, and you were going to do a full demode IPL. Then we have delete. So I have that option because I'm an administrator group. Migrate. So migrating the tape simply means that you're moving that tape from the way I have my setup is any local tape can be migrated to Azure or any other path that's defined. So this is where you could manually migrate your tape. You could also do this, or instead you could do this or also do this as an automated task. I have my migrate feature built into my BRMS control group as an exit program, so that when the backup completes, it automatically migrates the tape to the second path or whichever path that I want. You can migrate a tape back from Azure back to local, but as you can see, you've got the flexibility of being able to restore and see tapes from any path in which they are stored. Protect a tape means you cannot, Once it's protected, you cannot initialize it, overwrite it, or delete it. You can click on labels and quickly see the libraries that are in that backup, along with the sequence and the size of the library. Okay, so that's a pretty quick rundown of this particular interface and our ViTL solution called LaserVault ViTL. So just to recap, deduplication capabilities, whether you're using our deduplication add-on solution, Bdup, or using any other backup appliance such as Exagrid, Rubric, Cohesity, just to name a few that we work with in terms of technology partners. The ability to replicate your backups, making copies of them so that you have disaster recovery copies. So with, as everybody knows, with physical tape, you just have the one copy. This would give you the ability to be able to recover from any copies that you have replicated. The ability to integrate with the cloud storage to store backups in cloud. Some of the automation capabilities, multi-tier integration. So we're talking about a really easy transition from a physical tape backup environment to a virtual tape backup environment because of the fact that you're backing up. Your process is the exact same with either method or either technology. So the ability to quickly integrate this in with your backup and recovery of your IBMI data is just really simple to do because nothing really changes on your backup side on the IBMI. Okay, so there's some documents that you can download, testimonials, why ViTL, why now, some technical specifications. We have a quote sizing questionnaire. So this can help us determine what, if any, hardware that you're needing for a solution, whether it be a server, fiber channel, HBA, SAS, HBA, disk storage, or you're going to be utilizing existing disk storage for your backups. Our solution can be just software. So we can provide for you the specs of the hardware that you would use, the fiber channel, the SAS. You'd be providing disk storage or SAN or NAS storage. But we can offer just a software only, and it is a perpetual license. It is not a subscription, and it's not based on the amount of data that you're saving from your system, only based on licensing of the number of fiber channel or SAS ports that you're going to utilize to connect to the IBMI side. This can be in a VM environment, but just note that you're going to need a PCIe slot in the host of the VM in order to use the fiber channel card or SAS card to make that IBM connectivity so that you can emulate tape, allow you to do full system restricted state saves, as well as demode IPL. Okay, so I want to thank everybody for your time today. There's our contact information. Please feel free to shoot us an email if you'd like to do a more detailed demonstration and go over some configuration options to get an accurate pricing and quote and specifications on what you might need for LaserVault ViTL for your IBMI backups. So we can definitely do that with you and love to do that. And then we are doing a drawing for a 1 terabyte SSD portable. So that drawing will be announced. The winner of that will be announced via email once we have that drawing here shortly. And there will be a recording that we'll place on YouTube and send out a link to that to our YouTube channel so you can go back and watch this anytime, share it with other colleagues. So if there's any questions, feel free to ask. There's a panel or questions option in the GoToWebinar, GoToMeeting panel. If anyone's got any questions that they want to ask at this time, be happy to answer them. Also you'll receive a quick, I believe it's a 5-question survey. So if you get a chance to fill that out real quick to see where we're hitting the mark on the information we're providing and where we might be lacking information that you need in terms of learning more about our LaserVault ViTL solution and IBM backups to ViTL. Okay, great. Well, thanks everyone for your time, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.